If you're new to this channel, you could be forgiven for thinking that it was pretty much always about mountain biking. It's not, it's a photography channel really. It's just that this national park in this time of year is perfect for mountain biking, so I'm making hay while the sun shines. To be honest, if I was a mountain biking channel, I'd probably have to ride up this, but I'm not doing because, well, it's about 1,000 degrees. The gradient, that is, very steep. The temperature is actually quite pleasant. Right then, first shot of the day, I would like to be a profile of the bike on this path because the trees behind it look quite nice. I've seen this kind of photo lots of times. I've never done one myself, and I've seen that people stand their bikes up with twigs. Shouldn't be difficult to find a twig in a forest, he says. Why can't I find a single twig? Ah! Got one. Right, watch this. Nope. Something like that. Stay. Don't want to shake the ground. Okay, let's take a photo. Sheep. Sheep everywhere. Pushed my luck. I think I might set up a quick shot here. Now, a couple of you, maybe more than a couple, eagle-eyed viewers will notice or recognise this from the first episode, the very first episode of Stills in Motion. Right, so what I'm going to go for, folks, is a bit of an action shot at somewhat of a telephoto focal length. How is that? That's probably fine, actually, 35mm, so I'll keep the standard zoom on. Get the tripod begrudgingly, and I am going to make sure that I am in the shot. Riding back down, I imagine, is the one that I'll pick. I'm going to stick the camera on a timer, as I did in the last video, and I think I'll probably go for portrait orientation, actually. Something like this. I'm going to manual focus, just in case a bird or something comes and lands and confuses the camera. I think this should be fairly nice. Got to get rid of that rock in the middle of the frame because that's distracting. Yeah, looking good. So last night I was flicking through some old footage. I say old footage from January, which does feel like years ago, to be fair. And it was footage of when I was skiing or snowboarding in France. And in that time snowboarding in France, I was trying to make a video about shooting exclusively JPEG. And the whole point of that was that it was going to be a bit of a challenge on the basis that, well, when you're skiing or snowboarding, you're in snow. And therefore, particularly if you've got sunshine, there's going to be lots of contrast in your image. You're going to be pushing the histogram right to the edges. And yeah, I was going to do a video about that. I didn't get enough decent footage, I don't think, to make an entire video. I might revisit that, maybe I did. But there was a reason that I didn't release it. Like I say, it feels like years ago. Anyway, I thought today what I'd try and do is exactly that, just shoot JPEG. I'll be honest, it's nowhere near as much of a challenge today here in the rolling hills of the Peak District when there's overcast skies and basically zero contrast. The need for dynamic range today is basically naught. Nevertheless, I thought I'd shoot JPEG today, and hopefully I'll be able to answer one of your questions, your common questions, which is, can your presets be used effectively with JPEGs? And well, yeah, I suspect so. I mean, I've not really tried all that much, but I suspect you can use my free presets with JPEGs, yes. Particularly on days like today, where, like I said, you're not pushing the histogram all that much. I mean, as far as challenges go, today is sort of like, well, imagine being in a city where everyone is driving 4x4s in case they encounter wet leaves. And then you come along and say, do you know what, guys, as a challenge, I'm going to drive around in a two-wheel drive car. It's going to be absolutely fine. It's not going to be a challenge at all. That's basically what I've decided to do today. And also, as you might have guessed from the photos you've seen so far, hopefully, I'm trying to tell like a little mini story of my bike ride, just like I did a couple of weeks ago when I was out for a walk with Emily. Not a bike ride. And if you missed that video, basically what I was trying to get across was how I go about trying to tell stories through multiple photos. And one of the things I like to do is mix up the distance from the subject, because that helps bring some variety to the photos. The other thing I like to do is mix up my nouns and verbs. In other words, photos of things and photos of things happening. A verb is a doing word, so in a picture that's like me riding my bike, and a noun is a photo or a word of a thing. So that's a photo of a bike or of a sheep stood still. Don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's basically what I'm doing this afternoon, just taking some photos and hoping it comes together as a story. And they're JPEGs. I'm a big fan of days like this, skies like this. What other people term quite flat light, I quite like. As long as there's some detail in the sky, even if it's quite high key, I find it looks quite nice. And I definitely don't mind taking photos in this kind of light. Quite often when I'm in the hills, I try and get shots where I'm just clipping the very bottom of the photo with the very top of the hills. That can often look pleasing, at least to my eye. And even if you clip in the highlights a bit, I don't find it matters, so long as there's something to pique your interest in the sky. I don't have too much of a problem with it at all. And yes, for those of you wondering, I'm just using the back screen rather than the viewfinder, purely for the benefit of you being able to see on the GoPro. I don't actually know if it makes a difference to you, your watching experience, does it? Because if it doesn't, I'll probably just keep using the viewfinder. It's quite a bit easier. This is pretty nice. Tractor, me coming around that bend, I think. To be honest, I think that looks a bit boring. I have to get a bit more stylish somehow. Get these sheep involved. Maybe get right behind the tractor. This could work. Yes, here we go. This is better. Get some shots of the tractor and the sheep's missing head. Closer. That is where I sat myself down on Valentine's Day when I was last here making a video. That same video actually, likely talking nonsense. This though, the Peak District, is quite literally in the heart of England. I mean, it's sort of in the chest area. Right then, this gate shall be my next feature for a verb image, on the basis that I've gone through lots of gates today, so I feel like it should, this set should include one. Plus, there's a nice vista behind this one. Also, I'd like to apologise for calling gates fences in the last video. Must have been the allergies. I think that came out quite well. As you can see, this is basically my composition. I've basically put the gate slightly to the right of centre, just because I think it makes for a bit more interest. And then this wall, this flowing wall, I think works quite well. And I've just put the tripod at a height that means that I get the vista in the background. Quite nice, I think, and I like the forest in the background that's not interrupted by any of this wall or the gate. Yeah, fun of that one. Right, next up, what I'm hoping for along here for perhaps the final verb is a big puddle. Fingers crossed. Oh, there is as well. Perfect. This is what I'm after. Check it's rideable. Yes. All right, set up shop here. Okay, what I'm hoping for this photo is to have some greenery on the left-hand side. In fact, I'll record so I can show you. Some greenery on the left-hand side, and then and obviously the puddle on the right, but the puddle is obviously what's going to be in focus. Maybe just one chaos one as well. Fine, done. Okay, ride back to the car without injuring myself, hopefully. Get home, take a look at what we've got. This is my smug face that I make when I get home without injuring myself on a mountain bike. It's happening quite a lot recently. I think I'm improving slowly. Anyway, to the surprise of pretty much no one, I'm sure, those JPEGs held up pretty well, and I edited them with my presets, which you can get on my website for free, as I mentioned, and yeah, they're pretty good. I think modern JPEGs, to be honest, are much more bendy and flexible, and you can pull them apart more in processing programs, much more than most people give them credit for, particularly JPEGs that are out of cameras that are only sort of 2 or 3 years old. I think, yeah, modern JPEGs are actually quite versatile. And I'll put those images as a set on my website at jamespopsis.com/bike story. SEO never was my strong point, to be honest, but like last time, the video where I did storytelling last time, I'll put them on my website so that you can look in your own time. This is your own time as well, obviously. Also, let me know if you want me to do an editing video in the future. I've not done one for a while, and I could talk you through those kinds of images and how I edit them. There's been a lot of editing stuff recently, so maybe you don't want that. But if you do, let me know, and yeah, maybe I'll do it. Also, I'd like to give a very warm welcome to a new sponsor on this channel, Skillshare. So I have found in the last few weeks that I've really been struggling to focus on the kinds of things that I want to focus on. And I've been taking a class by Greg McEwen called Simple Productivity, and it's really helped me zone in on the kinds of things I want to be thinking about and therefore get more done. There are thousands of classes on Skillshare, ranging from photography to UX design to music production to crafts to illustration, loads and loads of different topics. It's an awesome online learning community. And if you're curious about trying new things at the moment, if you've got a bit of spare time, then the first 1,000 subscribers to click the link in the description will get 2 months free on Skillshare to check out all the thousands of classes that they offer. Next up for me, I think I'm going to be checking out a class on how I can design a book next time that doesn't involve Photoshop. Some of you told me that using Photoshop for the last one was more time consuming and more of a headache than it needed to be. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing next. So like I said, if you click the link in the description fast enough, you'll get 2 months free of Skillshare. And yeah, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next week when I imagine I'll probably be back to taking raw photos or editing these ones. Let me know.